Hello, welcome to the Academy of Cheese and Noémie Richard-Stein, who is joining us
Hi.
for our Cheese and Cheers Father's Day tasting masterclass. I'm sure most of you know Noémie or have seen her in one of our other masterclasses, but Noémie is a sensory expert. She is head of education for L'Ecole du Fromage and Sainsbury Group. And I will let her introduce herself shortly. Perhaps if people could let us know where they are dialing in from, that would be great. Let us know if you've got some of the cheeses or the Haute Fromagerie pack, even better. And whether you're with your dads today or whether you're buying the cheese in anticipation of spending the day with your father on Sunday. Oh, here's our first one. Simon from Preston, Lancashire, has got all of the cheeses. Fantastic. Well, I know Noémie's got some great pairings to go with those cheeses. Hello, Matisse. Great to see you all the way from Malta. Fantastic, fantastic. So it's 6 o'clock, and keep them coming. Keep your chat coming. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll either answer them as we go, or I will attend to them at the end. We've got Richard from Brighton, who has the Fromagerie selection with a white Rioja and an Italian red. Perfect. I'm sure Noémie will tell you the best cheeses to be having with those two.
I'm counting for this.
Fabulous. Andy from Oxford, Jonathan London, Gabriella, and family from Lisbon. Welcome, Gabriella, all the way from Portugal. Andy from Surrey, and Anita from Toronto. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so without further ado, by the way, I'm not Tracy. This is the Academy Zoom account, and it's in Tracy's name. I'm actually Rachel. So yes, Tracy is elsewhere this evening, so I am doing Tracy's job. But hello everyone, I shall pass over to Noémie now. I'm going to turn off my screen and put Noémie, spotlight Noémie. Bear with me. Okay, all right, over to you, Noémie. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the feeling to be spotlighted. Hi everyone, very glad to be back on that channel. This time we are trying to get ready for Father's Days, trying to get some inspiration with French cheeses and all sorts of pairing. We're gonna have a journey around really suggestions of all types, of all kinds, for everyone, and obviously to make the Father's Day a fun experience, and maybe give some ideas of gifts for your fathers to enjoy. I just want to remind what I am doing and the Ecole du Fromage at Sainsbury at the time representing tonight. It's a structure from Sainsbury Group, a continental cheese company, and the Ecole is a school dedicated to train professionals that has been created back in 2012. It actually started in South America. I was given the great opportunity and challenge to start the building of the school more than 10 years ago now. And from South America, brought the concept in 2018 to the UK, where we merge our strength with the Academy of Cheese to provide training experience and become a training partner of the Academy. So that's the mission of the school, mainly dedicated to professionals working behind the counters, in stores, in restaurants, and really on the fields talking to people about cheese. So yeah, I'm lucky to run this this school from its beginning, and now expanding also throughout Europe. Yeah, and very glad to be welcomed with the Academy and to have this platform to share fun tasting journeys. So today we're gonna explore 5 different cheeses. We have our amazing Haute Fromagerie cheese selection that I'm uncovering right now. It's the best cheese board to work with for this kind of gathering. We have here 5 cheeses that are ready and waiting for us to taste them. They are available pretty much in all the retailer stores, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, and online as well. So that's really accessible. And so we're gonna have like really a session of brainstorming on different pairings that can go with each one of those cheese after we explore the characteristic, the organoleptic characteristic of each cheese. And obviously I have here this very nice woody board that will help us to set the cheese on a nice settings with few pairings that are related to our drinks choice. So without further ado, let's go for it. That's the cheese selection. We are going to work with 5 different cheeses and 5 different recipes and 5 different regions of France, and we're going to learn also how each region has impacted the tradition of the cheese, and the recipe, and obviously the flavors. So yeah, we're gonna really immerse into flavors tonight. Before that, I want to remind a few principles that have been used also for the selection of the pairing. We're going to talk about it more. We can have different approach when it comes to pair cheese. One of the key approach is to look at the main characteristic of the cheese. We learn at level 1 that we have the simple flavors that we appreciate on the tongue, the aromas that we feel through the aftertaste and through the nose, and the texture that we have in the mouth. So these are the main characteristics that we will be looking at in the cheese and in the drink when we do the pairing. And we can decide how to go towards the same direction in terms of a light cheese with a light wine, or something sweet with a cheese that has this kind of very caramelly notes, for example. Or we can go opposite. The best example for opposite is to go for a very salty Roquefort and to pair it with a sweet pairing, such as a late harvest wine, for example. So that's one approach. It's really to go to look at the characteristic of both and either go for contrast or go for balancing both characteristics. Then we have the classic what grows together, go together, and that's true most of the time. So we can get really inspired by looking at the region, what's the special drink of the region, what's the cheese, and how we can make them well together. You have some examples on the screen. And then we have the more of the chef approach, where the combination of both will bring something new in the mouth. It's like we don't have anymore really the cheese and not anymore the drink. We have something that's kind of a new concept coming from the pairing. Other chefs will choose to have one dominant and one that's just like supporting the other product in the pairing. So that's all kind of concept. We don't have a rule. We just have these types of guideline to make choice and take decisions when it comes to pairing. So let's start with the first pairing, with the first cheese, first of all, and the first region. As I mentioned, this is also a journey around France and its cheese tradition. The first region is the Loire Valley. Loire Valley is very popular for goat cheeses. It's been at the end of the 18th century suffering crisis for the vineyard. A crisis called the phylloxera crisis, which is a contamination that attacked the grape, the vines. And in order to clean the lands, the winemaker started to bring goats, because goats know very well how to select food on the lands, and it really started to become a crate for goat milking, and therefore cheese, goat cheese making. And the goat milk has the particularity to have this kind of long fermentation process where you're going to get out of the milk this very chalky texture. So that's what we have in the Crottin, which is our example tonight, but we can find it also in all different kinds of cheeses from the region that all respond to this very long and slow fermentation process, bringing a very chalky and lactic hard texture. That's the characteristic. Here, the Crottin of the Haute Fromagerie selection is being made by hand. So there is a hand process in the molding, and it's a very slow draining that's making it evolving very smoothly. We don't have like too sharp and intense like goaty notes. We have something very well balanced. We have a kind of earthy goaty aroma and a high minerality. So yeah, that's what is going to guide us to choose our pairing. And I want to start with a classic and say to everyone, cheers and hi and welcome tonight.
Cheers. Cheers, Noémie.
Yeah, we will also go no classic, but I want to start with a classic because that does work, and that's definite yes for most people that try this. So this is a Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc grape variety. It's characterized by a high acidity and minerality, and that's really matching what the cheese has to offer. Yeah, Sancerre, what grows together goes together. I'm going to, as we go, display also the cheese on our board. So for the crottin, I'm going to use just a simple like wheat cracker with some thyme. Okay, I'm displaying the crottin on top of this cracker. I'm going to sprinkle some rosemary on top. Rosemary, just to remind the freshness and the herbal notes of the wine. Yeah, that's how I'm suggesting it to be enjoyed alongside its Sauvignon Blanc. But because we said that we want to go more and wider for those who don't want wine, or to go for a different option, maybe a further option would be to go for a spirit and herbal gin as well, that will remind the minerality of the cheese. For the non-alcoholic choice, elderflower soda is replacing very nicely the Sancerre option. And a simple wheat beer would work as well very well with this cheese. I wanted to go further tonight and think about how we can bring everything together and transform it as one cocktail that will work with the cheese. So yeah, it's literally like taking. So this is the Loire Garden Fizz, okay. That is gathering all these inspiration together. So the gin, the elderflower, Sauvignon Blanc grape variety, with a drop of lemon juice and soda. And that can be also sprinkled with thyme or rosemary or with a cucumber. And that's for those who wants to go to embrace all the options.
Wow, that will pack a punch, that one.
Yeah.
Gin and white wine. Woo. Sounds delicious.
Sounds delicious. Yeah. Yeah, and it's fun to trial. It's fun to trial. I think already just like this cocktail can be a whole evening on its own, you know, like to try all these drinks separately and then to put them together as a nice crottin cheese party.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our first stop today in the Loire Valley. If there is any question, I'm happy to take them on the spot as well, or to wait at the end. And if not, I'm going to go to the next stop. I'm going to take you all from the Loire to the southwest of France to the Basque country. The Basque country is really known for the shepherding tradition. And we know that we are in the foothill of the Pyrenees. We have here a very rustic climate where mainly sheep will adapt, that have like this ability to adapt to this very cold climate in the winter, very hot summer, and the shepherding tradition is going to the mountain in the summer and making the cheese in the summer from the mountain in a very short time, few months of the summer, but the cheese has to last for until the winter and to provide the valleys in the winter. So that's where the technology of hard cheese comes from. We also have it in the Alps, in the mountains in general, but here it's adapted to the sheep milk, where we're gonna cook the curd or scald the curd in order to get more shelf life, and to have a longer maturation time, so the product will last longer. We also have this pressing technique that's belonging to the hard cheese family. That's also things that we learn in level 1. And yeah, so one of the emblematic cheese is called the Tomme. Tomme in French means small wheel of cheese, usually between 3-4 kilos. So here we have a Tomme de Brebis. So the Tomme de Brebis is sheep milk Tomme, and it's called also étorquis. Étorquis is the Basque name of this cheese, and it's really interesting in terms of flavor complexity. By the way, you see 2 coins on the screen because it used to be the money of the shepherd. It's used to be the way of transacting, using their cheese as a money tool. Yeah, so the Tomme de Brebis is a cheese that is matured for 3 months. So it's a fairly young maturation cheese, and that's allowing to keep a certain creaminess in the texture. We don't have something too dry. We have something very creamy, very soft and light, with very fruity notes, more towards the stone fruit character, apricot. That's working very well as well in this region with the classic pepper, the Espelette pepper, that you have on the toast of the screen. So what can we do for him? Here, my choice is to go for the very refreshing one, the ale beer, pale ale beer. That's also very fruity, It's having like very fresh fruitiness. The cheese is almost nutty, so that's working well with the beer. And obviously the sheep milk is also responsible for this intense creaminess, and the beer will come and kind of clear out the palate. This will happen as well with choosing to go for spirit like a Calvados spirit, which is again from apple spirit. The apple is really bringing the fruitiness, revealing the fruitiness of the cheese, and the alcohol, the high amount of alcohol will really clear the smooth, the thin layer of cream that we'll have on the palate with the Tomme de Brebis. Another option, a sober option, the more and more famous kombucha that have similar characteristic. And for those who want to stay wine, I would go for a light red wine, which would generally go for Pinot Noir or even a Gamay, that are wines that have low tannins characteristic. And I'm gonna let the creaminess express, because we always have this risk when we have too much tannins and very creamy cheese to create metallic notes, to create something that's not working together. So usually when we have very creamy cheese, we go for light red wine or white wine as well. I just cannot suggest everything. So for tonight, I would go for a Burgundy Pinot Noir. And on the plate, I'm going to remind, so first of all, I'm going to do for him a little sliced cut. These cheese are really like coming ready to handle. We can just display them like that. I just like to give him a little twist.
Noémie, towards the end, will you be able to show us your board up close?
Yeah, can you? Yeah, I'm gonna try to make some. Oopsie. I'm gonna try to make some pause session where I show it on the go, if you cannot see it properly. I'm just like cutting very thin layers of dry apricot. That's also like reminding the color of the rind, orangey rind, and just like sprinkling in the middle of my slices, because it's also a very nice food pairing for it, reminding the fruitiness of the cheese. So far we have like 2 simple cheeses, and we're gonna keep going. Where should we keep going? First, we're gonna also mix that together. So that's my second cocktail suggestion, the Orchard Earth Sour. That's gathering all these ideas, not all of them, because it can be a bit extreme to also add to this the Burgundy wine, but yes, some Calvados, kombucha, bringing like the more non-alcoholic sides of the cocktail. Maybe cider as well, cider vinegar, and a slice of apple would go very nice with this cheese, or it can be also the apricot coming back to garnish the cocktail.
Beautiful.
Right. On that note, we're going to the Massif Central. The Massif Central is a geographical region that's contains all the central mountain, the Massif Central, of really the center of France, and is characterized by old volcanoes and like valleys surrounding the volcanoes with rivers. So it's a very very a region which has like very high level of vegetation, of fresh grass, minerality on the ground, where we are growing mainly cows there. The most famous is the Montbéliard cow, which you can see on the screen. And this cow is providing cheese that is very rich, with lots of protein contents. And we have also in this region the most amount of PDO cheeses. For those who missed level 1 or didn't get yet onto level 1, PDO is you have actually this on each of the labels of this pack, because most of the cheese are PDOs. Is this yellow and red label that guarantee that the name of the cheese comes from a certain area, and that the cheese has certain rules of cheese making. So that's the case of the Nectaire that we have tonight on the selection. And that's the case of other 4 cheeses in this region, making this region the first PDO cheese region of France. The Nectaire, so we have it here. It's a cheese that has a minimum of 28 days of maturation as a matter of the PDO requirement. It's a cheese that is pressed very very slightly. It's not more than 2 hours of pressing, because we want to keep again a certain softness of the cheese. We are really in between the soft and the hard. We put it in the hard cheese family category because of the pressing, but we don't cook the curds. It's a very soft cheese overall. There's different types of washing process of the rind, and there is different age also of this cheese. So 28 days is the maturation time that we chose to have it at Haute Fromagerie cheese selection, because we want to have a young Nectaire that's again expressing fruitiness mainly, nutty aromas, a certain softness in the paste, something almost like something pasty, something like rich in the mouth, a little bit towards the brie character, but a touch firmer compared to a brie. And obviously the washing of the rind will provide the aromas, the flora of the maturation room, coming and developing on the rind and inside the cheese, developing more of an earthy character to the cheese. And that's why what we're gonna play with for the pairing suggestion of the Nectaire. So what is my choice here? I wanted to go for this one. This one is a single malt whiskey. And the reason I went for, first of all, the idea is to bring different suggestions, as you understood, and for everyone to have like something different. So here the whiskey is actually bringing like this kind of fruitiness that we have in the red fruit character, the smoky notes reminding the earthy notes that we have on the rind. That's something very interesting. Yeah, very smoky and fruity whiskey for the single malt one. On my plate, on my board, just gonna reveal the other pairing for the curious one. So again, a light wine for the red wine, like the Gamay grape variety. An amber ale can go very nice as a beer section. And the tea, chamomile tea, is something that we've been trying more and more with cheese. especially with cheese that have this very soft paste. And it's especially the hot drink is like making the paste like really melting in the mouth. It's a very interesting choice too. So I'm going to display. Again, here I have a piece that is like very easy to handle and pass on my board. And I'm going to remind the freshness of it with and the earthy notes of it with some walnuts next to it. Just some walnuts around it. Okay. And obviously we have our whiskey choice. We put everything together and try to go for it. The Pyrenean highball. So we're gathering our whiskey this time with so rooibos is another option, but we can stay with the chamomile infusion. Actually, we can infuse the chamomile in the whiskey for an hour or so to inject like this more floral character. And then add the amber ale beer to bring like the more smoky notes like that we also have in the whiskey and on the rind of the cheese. And garnish with apricot or even with an apple can be a good one. Okay, once again, if there is question, ideas, you're welcome. And if not, I'm taking you all the way to the north, from Massif Central to Nord de France, where we have a long tradition of monastery impact. Monasteries have been like bringing a lot of technology in cheese recipes. In the city of Maroilles, there is the Abbey of Maroilles, where we know that there's a big heritage of process like washing the rind. Washing the rind back then was made with beer in order really to cover the cheese, protect the cheese, give him a longer life, and protect it from all kinds of flies or any other contamination. As really an agent of preservation in the rind. Today, the Maroilles is washed with a brine, no longer with beer, but we really kept this technique from the monks' heritage. This particular cheese, the Maroilles, has actually got a very big peak of popularity back 15 years ago when they decided to launch the movie Welcome to the North, so Bienvenue chez les Ch'tis in French, which is the story of a guy from Paris getting a work opportunity to the north, and the very north of France is very far away and different mentality and culture from a Parisian guy and in general. So he lives all sorts of experience emerging himself in this culture. And one of them is the experience of discovery of the Maroilles and the way we eat it in the north. So I'm going to let you with this little shortcut of the movie.
C'est du caramel. C'est de le chicorée. On rajoute toujours de le chicorée dans le café. De la quoi?
De le chicorée. Plutôt avant de dire du mal. C'est pas bon, c'est ça?
Si, c'est très bon.
Ah.
Qu'est-ce que vous mettez sur le pain? Vous trempez, hein? Ah, quoi? C'est du maroilles. Du maroilles, qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? C'est un fromage que je fais un petit peu fort. Comme le vieux. Vous voulez goûter? Non. C'est bon, hein? Ah, c'est aussi fort une fois à l'intérieur. C'est pour ça qu'on le trempe dans le café. Pas adouci. Ah oui, trempé? Non, ça va pas.
Allez.
Yeah, just hope you had the sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Yeah, so that leads me to the very unmissable pairing, Maroilles, that we have here, with coffee, but not any coffee. Coffee from chicorée, which is a plant that has this caffeine. So obviously I invite you all to try this, to dig the maroilles in coffee and eat it straight after when the coffee is hot, and to feel this really caramelly note that's coming out of it, because this is really like a very interesting thing when we spoke about the different ways of pairing and how a pairing can bring something completely new. So that's what coffee is making to Maroilles, and it is very interesting. So
would a cup of ordinary espresso, would that work?
Yes, but try to sharp it a little to get really this sharp like coffee. I would recommend to go for an espresso or something like sharper that can really reveal these caramel notes of the Maroilles. The Maroilles in itself is like very creamy cheese belonging to the soft cheese families, with this like very small lactic heart in the middle. So this lactic heart will bring like something very fresh, something herbal. On the right, it's got this sharp, like pungent animal character. Really, like digging it in the coffee is getting like caramelly notes. So I would almost like put the coffee on the side on my board. And for the Maroilles, that is also a PDO, by the way, I'm gonna grate on it chocolate that is a coffee flavored chocolate. And I'm just going to grate some chocolate on it. You could decide to cut it a little also to make it.
And that would be a dark chocolate, I guess. No.
Yeah, dark chocolate, coffee flavor, to remind the concept of the pairing. Just putting it on top of the cheese, and that's for our bold suggestion. All right, so this is how we are moving on. We have our Crottin, Tomme de Brebis, the Nectaire with the walnuts, and the coffee and chocolate aromatized pairing on the board with the Maroilles. Wine, Sauterne, or like sweet wine, is also very interesting with Maroilles. The port as well is an option. A dark beer, stout, is also revealing like these caramelly notes of the cheese. And why not a spiced rum option? That's leading us to the Northern Heat Manhattan, gathering all those things together in a cocktail. Just the spiced rum, the cold brew coffee, and maybe adding like grating this chocolate bitters on top, and yeah, shaved dark chocolate, that's the word, would be interesting as a fusion of all this inspiring pairing to go with the Maroilles. All right, I think we have, and I'm just checking that we are good with timing, and it seems that we do, because we are reaching our last stop, and it's more of a familiar stop because we've been here already in the Massif Central. As you remember, I mentioned it's one of the biggest PDO region. So here we have another PDO, the Bleu D'Auvergne. Bleu D'Auvergne is one of the oldest blue cheeses We know that this region has a lot of legends that they share also with Roquefort, more thousands in the Massif Central, where we know that shepherd would have randomly left a piece of bread with some fresh curd on it as they were resting from the walk with the sheep in the summer. And we know that one of them suddenly heard a beautiful voice singing behind the cave where he was resting. And we know that he forgot everything and only came back 2 weeks after. The legend doesn't tell us what happened with this sound, the lady voice that he followed, but we know that when he came back, he discovered that the white curd had blue molds on it coming from the bread. And we know that until today, some Roquefort are made with the original penicillium mold extracted from rye bread that is maturing in the same cave. Today, most of other blue cheese are made with a more standardized blue penicillium, but it comes from this tradition, and the central region of France have really known to develop the technology of the bluing. You can see on the screen the pursing of the wheel. When we make blue cheese, we want the blue mold to develop. And the blue mold needs oxygen and needs the CO2 to evacuate. That's the two conditions, alongside with temperature requirement. And this pursing technique is every needle has a special distance within each of them and size, and that's a very high technology that is developed in the Massif Central to produce Bleu D'Auvergne and other blue, but Bleu D'Auvergne is one of the most traditional one, offering a very creamy texture, but at the same time firm, and something like I would say with earthy character, cavey character, as we say. Slightly tangy but not overpowering, again the job of the penicillium of the blue is really to reveal the aromas of the milk, and there is a kind of the blue cheese is one of the cheese where there is the most transformation on the cream level that's in the milk. So when the cream is transformed, the aromas are more intense. That's why blue cheese are very intense. And we managed to get like also transformation in the texture, bringing this creaminess to the cheese. So that's a very interesting one that I'm going to add to our plate. This little portion of Bleu d'Auvergne. And in terms of pairing, I want to go back to the classics. We started with classic, so I want to end up with classic, the other white selection of the night. So I decided to go for a Sauterne, late harvest sweet wine with this botrytis molds that's giving the sweetness. So there is also in the process a common ingredient with the blue cheese. And yeah, again, we said at the beginning, we have like different guidance when we go for pairing. Here we have something intense, something salty as well. We didn't mention the saltiness, and something very earthy. And we go for a wine that is very sweet, very aromatic, very fruity. So we are really contrasting both of them in order to let them both express in their own place and not clash, but like really express together. So that's why the choice of the of the Sauterne. I'm going to give you also a few more. As a spirit, the cognac could be a nice one as well. And the cacao option, dark chocolate cacao. So here we would go more for balancing the strong flavor of the cheese with an intense dark cacao drink. And a bière de garde or unfiltered beer with a long maturation time would also be an option to go for very intense character pairing. Here on the plate, I'm going to go for something that's gathering contrast and balance. So again, I'm going to cut some slices of it. The Bleu D'Auvergne has got this like slightly less stickiness. So I'm going to insert in between my slices. This is marmalade, orange marmalade. So it's got at the same time a little bitterness, and obviously it's a very fruity and very sweet pairing. So we're bringing both of them together by according it with the Bleu D'Auvergne. In between the slices on the board. And then we are gathering it together. And before we are revealing the board, we will also suggest the cocktail coming from all this suggestion. Cognac and sweet vermouth with the cacao and maybe some Angostura bitters. Garnishing it with orange twist could be a nice one to try all things together. And in the meantime, I think we can say thank you to Haute Fromagerie and thank you to this beautiful French cheese selection and French cheese tradition and to all these French cheesemakers that are providing with such unique traditions and recipes, and to Haute Fromagerie that is able to gather and select the right maturation, the right product, and get it in this very friendly board.
Yeah.
That is now became a new board for the Father's Day.
I